Ghislaine Maxwell, a couple weeks ago, met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. They had a nice conversation that spanned 9 hours over 2 days, I believe, was the count, where they discussed everything Epstein related. Now, that news has been released. The transcript has been released. Obviously, I'm not reading the whole transcript here. I have an article courtesy of BBC. Basically, Ghislaine Maxwell is effectively a puppet for Donald Trump and the deep state globalist cabal that Alex Jones tried to warn us about, but he has since been silent on since Donald Trump has taken office this second time. As I said in the beginning of the show, none of this should surprise you. If you thought that Ghislaine Maxwell was going to say anything that could potentially incriminate Donald Trump, you're naive. I don't even know if naive is the appropriate word to describe you. At no point was she ever going to say, yeah, I saw Donald Trump having sex with underage girls, especially after he has floated repeatedly, giving her a pardon after he transferred her to a lower security facility, effectively a country club prison. Now we have her own words. We have her own words, not only saying that Donald Trump never did anything, but in fact that, oh no, him and Jeffrey Epstein, they were friendly, but like that was it. They just talked to each other. They just talked to each other when they were at social gatherings. Like, oh, I'm not a smoker, but I will have a cigarette after I've drank a few beers, or I will only have a cigarette when I'm hammered. Even though Jeffrey Epstein himself was like, oh no, Donald Trump and I, we were best friends. The article begins. Ghislaine Maxwell, the jailed associate of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, has told U.S. officials she did not witness any inappropriate contact by Donald Trump or former President Bill Clinton. This is bipartisan. Both establishment wings of each party in the United States and really all over the globe are going to be exonerated by her testimony. She's just basically going to say that anyone who is influential and powerful had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. The Trump administration has faced pressure to disclose information about Epstein, who the U.S. president was previously friendly with. Maxwell was interviewed from prison in July and, according to the newly released transcript, told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche that a much discussed Epstein quote unquote client list does not exist. This is bullshit. This is just a fucking lie. I'm really curious to see the conservative media fallout from this. I talked about it a couple weeks ago and I put the video up on my YouTube channel, but MAGA is effectively split on the Epstein files. You have one wing of MAGA who is really pissed off that Donald Trump is not disclosing the Epstein files. This includes Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, some other prominent Twitter users like Gunther Eagleman. And then you have the other wing of MAGA who is entirely okay with Donald Trump not disclosing the Epstein list. They are led most prominently by Charlie Kirk, who of course famously said that he will no longer talk about Epstein because he trusts his friends in government. This article came out 3 hours ago on Saturday, what is it, the 23rd. So there wasn't enough time for me to appropriately gauge the conservative punditry on this, but I would imagine that it will still remain split. People like Candace Owens and like Nick Fuentes will clown on Ghislaine Maxwell. They'll say that Donald Trump thinks we're fucking stupid. And then you have people like Charlie Kirk who will just not say anything about it, most likely. There is definitely a client list. I don't understand why the fuck she's choosing to run with this lie. Pam Bondi said that it was on her fucking desk and then walked it back. You don't just walk back that kind of statement. She also called allegations of Prince Andrew having sexual relations with an underage girl in Maxwell's home, quote, mind-blowingly not conceivable. Also false. Again, this is well documented that Prince Andrew is a fucking freakazoid. Maxwell is seeking a pardon from Trump and has been accused of lying to federal officials. Yeah, dude, she perjured, definitely. Like, if I were Todd Blanche and I was having this conversation, I know that it's probably in my legal duty to remain unbiased, but I would just not be able to sit across from this woman who is currently in prison for sex trafficking. I would not be able to sit across from her and just have her fucking lie to my face. There's no fucking way. Who was she sex trafficking to? Why all of a sudden is she repeating the State Department talking points on this? It's just too coincidental. Shortly after the interview with Blanche, who previously worked as Trump's personal attorney, she was moved from a Florida prison to a new minimum security facility in Texas. It is unclear why the move was made. I wanted to talk. Well, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't really feel like it was worth talking about. But this minimum security prison is basically a country club. If you guys have ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street, the prison that Jordan Belfort goes to, or that Leonardo DiCaprio goes to, where they're playing tennis and they have a full library that they're able to go to at their leisure. That is exclusively reserved for white collar criminals, typically people who commit financial crimes. You're not really perceived as a threat at that point to anybody, so they send you there to live lavishly for the rest of your sentence. That is the kind of prison that they sent Ghislaine Maxwell to, who is definitely a fucking threat to people beyond herself. She's currently serving a 20-year sentence in a sex trafficking scheme and has petitioned the Supreme Court to overturn her conviction. Her lawyer has said that they would welcome a pardon from the president. Yeah, obviously. The White House has been adamant that, quote, no leniency is being given or discussed in Maxwell's case. Trump has maintained that he fell out with Epstein in 2004, although he said later on that he was still friendly with him after that, like within towards the end of the early aughts, that he cut off relations with Epstein after he, in his words, poached Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago, who was employed there underage as a masseuse. The president has accused his political opponents of using the case to distract from what he sees as his administration's victories, but he also faced pressure from his own Republican Party for more transparency around the Epstein files. What the transcript revealed. In the transcript, which amounted to 300 pages, some heavily redacted, shocker, Maxwell said that while she believed Trump and Epstein were friendly in quote-unquote social settings, she did not think they were close friends. Quote, I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting, she said, alluding to the massage services that some Epstein victims have mentioned. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. Mind you, Jeffrey Epstein himself said he was Donald Trump's best friend. She also said she did not recall Trump sending Epstein a 50th birthday note in 2003, which drew recent headlines after the note was reported in the Wall Street Journal. Those are not my words. I don't draw like that. In fact, when I draw titties, they look much better than whatever slop was put on that page. I make them nice and round at the bottom and a little perky up top. In a recent interview, Blanche also asked Maxwell about the alleged client list of high-profile personalities that has become the object of conspiracy theories in recent years. Maxwell was asked about several well-known figures, including Bill Gates, Elon Musk, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, HHS Secretary RFK Jr., actor Kevin Spacey, model Naomi Campbell, and Prince Andrew, whom she denied she introduced to Epstein. Robert Fortnite Kennedy Jr., who admitted to going on Jeffrey Epstein's plane twice. He admitted to that unprompted on TV. I think it was in an interview with Fox News, but he came out and said, I've actually been on Jeffrey Epstein's plane multiple times. Like, come on, man. It's the evidence is so obvious. It's in our fucking faces. It's waving at us. The list of his high-profile associates had become a focal point for conspiracy theorists who insisted that it was being kept hidden by the deep state to protect prominent participants in Epstein's crimes. It definitely was. I don't know about using the deep state. I don't necessarily know if I would use that term, but yeah, the highly influential and powerful people associated with Jeffrey Epstein would do everything in their power to prevent that client list from being revealed. Several figures in the Trump administration, including FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, repeated those claims in the past, although they have since backtracked. There is no list, Maxwell said. Maxwell also spoke about Prince Andrew, whose relationship with Epstein eventually led him to stepping down from royal duties. She called it a flat untruth that she'd been the one who introduced the Duke of York to Epstein. First of all, quote, this is a quote, first of all, let's just state I did not introduce him to Prince Andrew. She spoke at length of Epstein's relationship with both Prince Andrew and Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson. Prince Andrew had previously said that Maxwell introduced him to Epstein, but Maxwell said she believed it was the Duchess who was responsible. I don't want to keep repeating the same joke about, lobotomy patients, but If you don't believe that there's a link between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and all these other high-profile people, you may have already been lobotomized and you just don't know it yet. Every fucking time reports come out, the report is inherently contradictory. Even the BBC highlights the contradictory nature of this case. When approached by the BBC about Maxwell's claims, Sarah Ferguson's representative declined to comment. Maxwell also spoke about Prince Andrew's alleged relationship with a woman whose name has since been redacted in the transcript. She said she found the allegations against the Duke of York mind-blowingly not conceivable, partly due to the size of her house where the events allegedly took place. Justice doesn't exist. Nothing ever happens to bad people. They're just allowed to be bad for the entirety of their lives. Like, Henry Kissinger lived to be 97 fucking years old. Henry Kissinger, Satan himself, was 97 fucking years old when he died. All of these ghouls who associated with Jeffrey Epstein, who went to his island and practiced pedophilia, they're also probably all going to live to 97. And not a single fucking one of them is ever going to go to prison. And half of the Republican Party is fine with it. Like, okay, the kill your local pedophile crowd is fine with it. She was also asked about a famous photo of Prince Andrew and the unnamed woman with Maxwell in the background. She told Blanche this photo was fake. I'm pretty sure that's the picture with Virginia Giuffre. The photo was fake. Like, Todd Blanche, please send this woman back to prison again. She's lying to you. She's lying to your fucking face. The prince was accused by Virginia Giuffre, who was not named in the transcript, of sexually abusing her when she was 17. He denied the allegations, but reached a financial settlement in 2022, which contained no admission of liability or apology. A widely circulated photo shows him alongside Giuffre with Maxwell in the background. Andrew has previously disputed its authenticity. Giuffre took her own life earlier this year. Her family has condemned the Justice Department for interviewing Maxwell and said she is a monster whose testimony cannot be trusted. And they're correct. Yeah, she is a disgusting human being. She is a certifiable piece of fucking shit who not only procured these women for Jeffrey Epstein, but engaged in the abuse herself. She is a scumbag. She deserves to rot in prison for the rest of her fucking life. And here we are on the cusp of her getting fucking pardoned. When we go through the list of Donald Trump's pardons, it's going to include 1,500 January 6th protesters, some of whom are pedophiles in their own right, and some of whom assaulted police officers. It's going to have Ghislaine fucking Maxwell, an abuser herself, an NBA fucking young boy. What is this? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? The fact that NBA Youngboy's pardon, which I believe was related on drug and gun charges, is on the same list as Ghislaine Maxwell is actually fucking insane. According to Maxwell, she first befriended Epstein in 1991 and subsequently developed a sexual relationship with him. Even after the relationship ended, she said she was still paid by Epstein up to $250,000 a year by 2009 and remained friends with benefits. She added that their relationship was almost non-existent between 2010 and his death. Epstein died by suicide. Yeah, sure he did. In 2019, while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. I do not believe he died by suicide. No, Maxwell said when asked, although she added that she did not have any reason to believe that he had been killed in a bid to silence him. It's ludicrous, she said, of theories that he was murdered. I also happen to think if that is what they wanted, they would have had plenty of opportunity when he wasn't in jail. Except, oh my God. Are you fucking stupid? He was in jail after getting convicted again on sex crimes and was ready to testify and spill the beans on all the motherfuckers he associated with. And Ghislaine Maxwell is playing dumb and thinking, oh, I can't see why they would want him whacked. Like, why do you, what? What? Huh? They think that we're fucking stupid. The quote continues, and if they were worried about blackmail or anything from him, he would have been a very easy target. Earlier this year, reports emerged that Trump had been told by U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi that his name appeared in the official files of the investigation into Epstein. Trump has never been accused of any wrongdoing in connection with the case, and on the campaign trail last year said he would publicize more information about the case. But he reversed his position several months into his administration, saying the case was closed, and criticized supporters and journalists who continued to press him on it. He has lashed out repeatedly at members of the press pool who even mention this topic. He also instructed the FBI to redact his name from the Epstein, or maybe it wasn't the FBI, but he instructed the Department of Justice to redact his name from the Epstein files. It took 1,000 FBI agents to remove Trump from the Epstein files. There were apparently 100,000 instances of his name being there, and it took 1,000 FBI agents to redact all of that information.